Welcome to your Aries horoscopes for the week of the 21st through, I do believe it's the 27th. I know I just brought them up. I don't actually remember them, but yes, I do believe it's the 27th on Saturday. And the Mercury retrograde is ending this week, which is really good. I had to say it. I had to jinx it last week and say, the retrograde really hasn't been that bad. Oh my God, this last week of it was just like one effed up thing after another. And of course, in typical Aries style, we got to have it as epic as possible, right? I mean, just like if we're just going to do it, let's just do it. But what I have seen is that in many ways, these epic things that are taking place are really happening for a good cause, because you know that you have to get to a place where you're really pushed to be very uncomfortable before you start making changes for the better. And that's very typical of most human beings. And, we all kind of wear that hat. So the retrograde does end on Wednesday, which is awesome. But don't think that the last few days aren't going to be the most brutal of all, because we do have the moon moving into opposition with Mercury and Venus, which is also still in Aries, for the duration of the last few days of the retrograde. Yes, that's right. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to have a moon opposition with Mercury and with Venus. Now, what does this mean? Mercury and Venus are both focused on career. So you're putting all your creativity into your career. You're trying to get organized and get everything organized towards your career success. And the moon comes in influencing the home, bringing emotional problems from that space into your plans. And it complicates things, of course, because it always does. Now, I hope you can't hear the raucous party that's going on behind me here. Usually you can't, but is a little bit louder than it normally is, which is okay. We'll work through that. So basically, what we're looking at here is it's just going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. And then on Wednesday, Mercury moves direct. We move into the shadow period, which can still be a bit wonky. Hoping not too wonky, because the shadow period before Mercury's retrograde was a little bit wonky. So it would be kind of nice to just have things sort of smooth out and settle down a little bit, but I know that's not realistic thinking here. So basically, my best advice here, there's two things that come up with this opposition. One, if you are just trying to avoid the unpleasant or the emotional and put all of your energy into something else instead, it's probably going to come back to haunt you. It's going to come back to bite you. It's not going to work, unfortunately. Whatever the situation, the emotional situation is, you got to take time to sit down and deal with it. If you don't take time to sit down and deal with it, it just keeps coming up and coming up, and it's distracting you, and it just screws everything up. The second thing really here that we're looking at is balance. Everybody needs balance. I know we always talk about this as being a Libra thing, but let's just put the cards on the table here, because that moon is in Libra, where it is all about balance. And Libras aren't the only ones that need a little balance in their life. Aries tend to put all of their energy into what is in front of them. And fortunately, when that happens, you tend to start to not pay as much attention to the other parts of your life that are also really important as well. So if you want to avoid confusion and more delay, because I'm sure you've had plenty of it, Mercury's been retrograde for the last 3 weeks, then deal with what you have to deal with when you have to deal with it, and then move on from that, giving you space to be able to open up and just focus all your energy on your career goals, your plans. I mean, you could have a great career right now, and that's perfectly fine. But it's always good to keep moving forward and to keep one eye on the future. So That is what I have for you guys this week. Isn't the best news in the world? The best news in the world is coming next week when there is no more retrograde anymore. And yay, we can celebrate that. But the best news really is that we made it through our first fire sign retrograde. You Rams made it through your first fire sign retrograde, and that's really what's important. Hopefully, you learned a little something along the way too, because that's also very important. So that's what I have for you guys this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me, and I will see you guys next week. You guys make it a great week. I'll see you next week.